What is going on, you guys? My name is Seapeekay, host of all things MCC, and the teams for MCC 17 have been announced. And oh boy, are there some good ones. I'm super excited to go over all the teams and how I think they're going to place with a prediction at the end of this video. Without further ado, let's get into this. Leave a like on the video and subscribe to the channel if you're new, and let's see those MCC 17 teams. First up, very quickly, I scrapped my face cam for this part of the video because people were complaining they couldn't see the fourth player in each slide, and the way that this spreadsheet works, there's no way I can make it work, and realistically, my face being here doesn't really add anything to this video. So first up, we have the Red Rabbits. It's Sapnap, Tubbo, George Not Found, and Goomy. Goomy being the newcomer on this team. Now, I'll level with you. I don't entirely know what Goomy's history is with competitive Minecraft or Minecraft tournaments, but I do know that Goomy is very good at other games, and I feel like with a little bit of practice, Goomy will be up to scratch. I'm expecting Goomy to come in a little bit above the average of 1,500 coins in her first event, especially with such a strong team around Goomy. Sapnap, obviously in his pop-off arc right now, consistently putting up incredible numbers, supported by his good friends, Tubbo and Goggy. With an average score of 9019, they are one of the stronger teams in the event. And I think with the right game order, this team could definitely make their way to Dodgeball. I think the key things that we need here are Sapnap to be I think the key things that this team need are Sapnap to have another crazy pop-off. But I mean, at what point do we start calling it pop-off and just start calling it consistency? And if Tubbo can keep a level head and keep his morale high, this team could quite easily go on to do big things. Next up, we have Orange. It's Pizza Hut, Grian, SB, and False Symmetry. Now, this team is obviously incredibly strong as well, with an average score of 9328. It actually statistically makes them the strongest team by quite a long way. However, after this, we'll go into why these averages may not be exactly as they seem. We've got Pete and Grian, the 11th and 12th place duo from the last event. Pete slipping out of the top 5 for the first time ever, but Grian having a very, very strong performance. SB makes his return after missing MCC 15 and 16, coming off the back of two strong 14th places in a row, 12 and 14, MCC 12 and 14. I know that SB is a grinder, and he's definitely going to be putting in the work to perform in this event. False has definitely had some good events and some bad events, but with this team around her, I think this is probably the most motivating team in the world. I've teamed with Pete, and he was so good at keeping morale up, and I think you're going to get the same thing from Grian. I'm expecting a standout performance from SB. I think that it's been a couple of MCC since he's been in, and he also can't be in the next couple because he's very busy, so I think this is his chance to pop off, and I'm looking forward to seeing what Orange can do. The third team for this event is the Yellow Yaks. We've got Wilbursut, Rambu, Smager, and Shovel. Now, this is cool because I feel like this is the first time in a while it hasn't kind of been SBI plus one person, and I'm very excited to see what this team can do. If I was to be honest off the bat, I think this is the first team out of the three that we've seen that I don't see instantly making it to Dodgeball. I think both Red and Orange have a great chance, and I'm not saying that Yellow have no chance. I just think they'd need a very strong game order for that to happen. But if there's one thing that is going to be a fact, is that the vibes in this stream will be immaculate, with Wilbur's newfound love of Ace Race instead of hatred. Ranbu, the Sky Battle Clutch King, who literally just plays the game and everyone dies around him. And the dynamic duo of Smager and Shovel, the vibes will be incredible. I know Scott, Shovel, and Wilbur play a lot of games on stream together as well that aren't Minecraft, so I think this is going to be a very, very strong team to watch for team chemistry, and I think it'll be a blast. Next up, we have Lime, coming in with an average of 8816. And this is the second team in the event that has a newcomer. This time around, we have Gemini Tay. Gem, you may recognize from the Empire's SMP and was recently added to Hermitcraft. And in my eyes, that means that you're going to be incredibly versed in Minecraft. Now, that doesn't mean you're necessarily great at things like PvP. I have no idea how good Gem is, but I do know that the team's chemistry is going to be great. I know for a fact that Fwip, Gem, and Jimmy all know each other very well. And Quig is very, very versatile and kind of slots into any team. What's interesting about this team is I do think it's very strong all round. I think they'll come a little bit above average in PvP games, mostly helped along by the fact that Quig is very, very strong, but also that Jimmy plays a great support role. I don't think chemistry is going to be a problem, and I think team-based games are going to be great for them. Perhaps they may struggle in movement games a little bit, but that's what we'll find out during the event. Again, off the top of my head, I would say this is another team that might not make it straight to Dodgeball, but I would say this is the event that has the most teams that could make it. And I know that we've said that a few times, but this one is actually crazy. So I'm looking forward to showing you the rest of the teams. Next up, we've got Green. It's a team of Puns, 5up, Jack Manifold, and Niachu. Right off the bat, I think it's pretty safe to say that Puns is the strongest player on this team. and will likely take up a leadership role. However, 5UP has shown great promise coming up with build mart strats, which I think shows great promise for someone who has only been in a couple of events. This time we get the returning duo of Jack Manifold and Niachu, and what I think is very interesting is 5UP has been consistently around the 26th place in his first 2 events, with Jack Manifold actually increasing his placement event on event, starting with a 30th place finish, then getting 23rd, and then in the last event getting 20th place. Can we see another small increase from Jack? Puns coming off of his #1 individual arc. This team could be very strong, and I actually think that the average is very unfair to them. They're one of only a couple of teams that are under 8,000 coins in average, but I don't think the average is going to mean anything with this team. With a strong pool of games, this team can quite easily go on to make Dodgebolt. It's Dodgeboltable. Now, here's a team I know you guys are going to be excited about. It's been a long time coming. It's the Fruit Ninja team, and for the first time, we're seeing the Simmers split up. We have Illumina, Fruitberries, Vixella, and Crytic Zeus. Now, this is a team I'm very, very excited for, and if I don't watch their POV live, I'll definitely be watching it after the event. Everyone is going to be excited because we get the roommate dynamic of Illumina and Fruitberries, which is incredibly strong, and we get to see how the Simmers will do on a team with 2 strong Minecraft players. The Simmers historically have always come as a group of 4, and I think there's been a lot of speculation around the Reddit and around the internet in general as to how they would do if they were split up into other teams, and I think this is really going to prove it. I'm expecting an incredibly high finish for Illumina and Fruitberries. I'm thinking both in the top 5, and I think even if just by proxy of being on a team with 2 very strong players, we're going to see the strongest performances from Vixella and Zeus as well. Will they do any training? I don't know. There isn't too long until the event, so maybe there isn't going to be time, but I'm hoping that these guys all manage to get a little practice in, and I'm looking forward to seeing what this team can do. Next up, we have Aqua, which is Antfrost, Eret, Captain Sparkles, and Kara Corvus. Antfrost has come in as statistically the best newcomer of Season 2 so far, already finding his way into the top 10, and we see the return of Eret, who's missed a couple of events, but is coming off the back of a couple of strong performances, finishing 26th place and then 26th place again. And to round this team out, we have the duo of Captain Sparkles and Kara Corvus, who know each other very well outside of MCC as well. I think chemistry is not going to be a problem for this team, but I don't think that this team necessarily has a really strong carry. We've got 2 proven great players in Antfrost and Captain Sparkles, but we've got to be realistic about the fact that Eret is coming back from only a small break, really. But from what I remember, he hasn't really been streaming too much either, so I'm assuming he hasn't been playing too much Minecraft. And Kara's going to be looking to improve off of her previous placement. So I think this team has a lot to prove, and they could pop off and do well. But as of right now, I am seeing them as statistically one of the weaker teams, and only time will tell what this team can do in the event. Next up, we got Blue, and our final new player added for the event. We have Filza, Sneak Snag, King Burn, and Wisp. Now, I only know of Sneak from SMPs, and I have no idea, again, on a gauge of Sneak's abilities. However, with a small bit of research, I did see that Sneak was also in Minecraft Saturdays, and so was I, which is odd, because I don't remember ever coming up against Sneak. But Sneak competed in 6 events and seemed to finish around the middle of the table, but did team with Filza, so there's going to be some cool chemistry there. It's the return of King Buren and the return of Wisp, and I think throwing Filza into the mix is going to make this another team where the average really doesn't do it justice. Right off the bat, before doing my predictions, I do see this being like a bottom half of the leaderboard team. I think they're going to finish somewhere between 5th and 10th. I'm not expecting this team to be a sort of try hard or a sweat team, and I mean those terms endearingly, where they're going to do a bunch of practice before the event. I think they're going to kind of show up, vibe out, and see what happens. Definitely some pop-off potential, but as I said, I'm expecting the bottom half of the leaderboard. Next up, we have Purple. It's HBomb94 in the Littlewood, Rendog, and Cub fan. Good to see Ren and Cub back in the mix alongside in the Littlewood, who was previously on the admin stream and proved that he is the king of Ace Race. HBomb seems to be returning as a frequent MCC player now, and I think that this team fully embodies the power of the H factor. Again, statistically on average, one of the weaker teams, but I do not think that would be taken into account. If I had to guess, I would say that this team would want to stay more away from PvP games than perhaps team-based and movement games, but don't let that fool you into thinking that they wouldn't hold their own in games like BattleBox and like survival games. Looking forward to seeing what can happen with this team, and let's get into the final team of MCC. And the last team we've got is the Pink Parrots. We see Dream returning to Pink, but this time alongside good friends Tommy Innit, Carl Jacobs, and Ponk. Now, straight away, I'm thinking that this team is very similar to Dream's last team in that Dream is, you know, Dream. I was kind of the Tommy in it, whereas I will say that I think Tommy has more pop-off potential than I do, whilst I remain more consistent. Carl will be returning after a long break away from MCC, and Ponk's coming in off of the back of a very strong first MCC performance. Now, I'm seeing this very, very similarly. I think Carl is a good representative of Bad, and I think that Ponk is a great representative of Finn. I think with a little bit of strategizing from Dream and a good game order, we could see the first ever back-to-back-to-back winner of MCC. I'm expecting Pink to go and pop off. I think that the opportunity to become the first back-to-back-to-back winner, and it would also make Dream the first ever 5-time winner, is going to be a really cool thing that Dream is going to want to go for. A lot of people were requesting that Tommy gets put with Dream because it's, you know, something that I think a lot of Reddit has wanted, and people wanted Tommy to have a very strong teammate for once rather than Tommy being the strongest teammate, and Scott has delivered exactly what they asked for. I'm really looking forward to seeing what this team can do. I think this team is going to be looking to play a very similar game pool to what we played in the last MCC. Overall, I'm super hyped. Now, as always, we have run this through the simulator that is on here, so we're going to look at the simulator results now, and then I'm going to go ahead and talk about it and give my predictions for you guys as well. All right, so welcome to the more stat side of things. We are using Ultra Sheeplord's spreadsheet, as always, a fantastic spreadsheet that you guys can also use, and it has all the stats of all the players from all the events. And you can just literally do a little drop down and it gives you all their statistics. And this is how I know everything that I know about MCC. So you remember earlier I said that the averages aren't necessarily what we should be taking into account. And that is because the averages are, I believe, their overall averages. Whereas what Scott tends to use is actually their last event. So this is their last event score here. So you can see the average is 9019, but the last event is 9149. Average is 9328, but their last event was 8641. So there actually can be quite dramatic differences. And you can see here the range of like lowest rated team to highest rated team is 1523, but the range here is 1951. Now, when I say Scott uses last event, he does for the most part. However, if someone has a massively off event or massively pops off, Scott is aware that it's like a pop-off or a bad event. He doesn't just use the last event. And from here, we can go across and we can see how they do in every single game. There's a lot of numbers here, but what we're really here for is the bit when you scroll down, because you can actually simulate your own MCCs if you wanted to. So you can actually come down here and you can literally pick the games that you want to play. So obviously Parkour Warrior is never going to be in, or it's not in the event right now. So there's no point in us having Parkour Warrior. So I'm going to pick some random games that I think could be played. This will also be my game prediction order, and we'll see who wins. Okay, so I decided to go for a Sky Battle, Grid Runners, To Get to the Other Side, Battle Box, Hole in the Wall, Build Mart, Sands of Time, Ace Race, Finale. That's, I mean, honestly, I want that, and that'd be very funny. Now, these won't probably happen in this order. It's relatively unlikely, but these are the games that I think will get picked. I do think we'll see survival games potentially getting skipped. And I think we'll see the return of the games that were missed last time in Battle Box and Hole in the Wall. Now, with this set of games, the winner would be Orange, which is Pete, Green, SB, and False, with Yellow coming in as runners up. So obviously what this means, and you can see this really does change. Like if I were to change the last game from Ace Race to, let's say, survival games, you can see the winner is now red. So these games really do make a difference. And this is what I find so interesting about MCC is that the games really, really make a huge difference in the outcome of the event and the order that they are picked in, obviously. So I'm going to go back to hoping that we get an Ace Race finale. But what's cool is, as you can see, it's actually very tight on score too. I mean, 15.2 at the bottom. And I really look at that. There's 15.229, 15.275, 15.286, 15.326. Like, this is so close. And then there's like another group of 4 really close. And then, I mean, at the end of it, Orange kind of runs away with it. But realistically, would be a very, very close event. You can also come over here and it simulates like how often these teams would win. So with those games, 82% of the time, Red would win. Almost 50% Red would make it to Dodgeball. So you can see here that actually simulates it 45 times, and 37 of those times, Red wins, which is absolutely insane. So from this, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go ahead and make my predictions on who I think is going to come where, and I'll bring you guys back and talk you through it. I like to think it'll probably be different to this. But you know what? I will try and work it out from a similar game order to this. Obviously, I don't know what the game order is going to be. I don't even know if there's going to be anything new. They could bring Rocket Spleef back randomly. I don't think they will. I think we're going to see very few changes this time because it's only been a couple of weeks since the last event between the two. So I think we're not going to see many changes this time around. So I'm expecting no new games and almost no changes. All right. Are we ready? I've got the spreadsheet prediction and then my prediction right next to it. So you can see here that the spreadsheet prediction in those games has it going orange, yellow, red, lime, pink, blue, purple, green, cyan, aqua. I see it a little differently. And this is just based off how I think teams are going to play. I mean, realistically, it's just a prediction, okay? People do get a little bit antsy about predictions, but the joy of predictions is, now stay with me here, commenters, stay with me, viewers, is we can all have different opinions and we can still coexist. Isn't that wonderful? So whilst this is how I feel it might turn out, I also know that there's a 100% chance it probably definitely will not end up like this. So here is my prediction for the event. I have Aqua 10, blue 9, purple 8, green 7, lime 6, yellow 5, cyan 4, orange 3, red 2, pink 1. Now, this, I think, can be massively affected by just small things. Literally, one different game being played can change everything. So, I think it's going to be a great event. This was honestly probably the longest I've spent trying to work out my top 10. People got moved around a lot. The initial was, like, way different to this, but this is what I've landed on, and it seems so brutal to be putting like teams like Aqua in 10th. Antfrost, Bad Boy Halo, Captain Sparkles, and Karakoras is a great team, but as you saw, the overall standings are so close that literally something as small as like a couple of kills in Sky Battle could literally make the difference between a team coming 10th and coming 5th. So these are my predictions. I'm gonna lock them in. I feel pretty solid with them. I will maybe update you guys on Twitter. If you want to follow me on Twitter at Seapeekay, maybe a day before the event, I'll talk about if I think there's any changes or what I've noticed. But these are my predictions. Let me know what you think. I want to see your guys' predictions in the comments. As always, I've been Seapeekay, host of all things MCC. I really hope you guys are enjoying the channel. We're so close to 50K. Please subscribe so we can get there. And I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.